Hey Strong Girl, I'm Coach O, and this is the Strong Girls Movement. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so excited to be doing this. This is kind of my first shot at doing long form content, and I really just wanted to do it so I could have an opportunity to just ramble, share all of my thoughts, and do it in a way that's super casual because that's really who I am, and in a way that it's really just like you're sitting down here with me and we're just having a girl chat conversation. And a lot of times these are pretty much reflective of the conversations that I have with my clients in the gym. So yeah, we're just gonna get into all the things about being a strong girl. And with today, since it's the first one, I really just kind of wanted to talk about what the Strong Girls movement is, what it means to me, why I do it, why I started it, and truly the mission behind Strong Girls. So really, when it comes down to it, there's two sides to the Strong Girls movement. There's the gym side and then the culture side, and I would love to dive into that today. First, I think it would be great to give you a little bit of a background of me and what I do and why I started this. So at the time I'm making this, I'm 25, but I'll be 26 soon in just a few weeks here. But I have been active my whole life, played sports, but I started strength training when I got out of high school, didn't have sports to do anymore. So that's when I got into the gym and started experimenting, learning, and then just absolutely fell in love with it and decided to become a personal trainer in 2019, 2020. And with just a few short months in the gym setting, I realized that I wanted to create a space that was a safe space for girls of all ages. When I first started my business, it was only aimed at youth athletes and getting them in the gym at a younger age so that they could learn before I had to learn when I was 18, right? So that way they can learn in the gym when they're 12, 13, 14 years old. So by the time they're an adult and they're out on their own, they know exactly what to do and how to do it. But not only that, after a few years of working with just athletes, I was like, I'm missing out on the girls who are my age who maybe don't know what they're doing, and then also the moms and the grandmas and everything. So Strong Girls kind of just evolved to all of the girls out there, and that's what we're doing here. And another thing that I wanted to mention about this podcast, YouTube, long form content that I'm super excited to do is that it's not just going to be me chit-chatting with you, but obviously I would love to have other trainers come in. But what I think is going to be the most special is that I'm going to have some of my own strong girls who I work with, my in-person clients, coming in and doing this podcast with us. So girls who are as young as 14, 15, with their parents' permission obviously, but learning from the high schoolers and learning their thoughts and experiences. Some of the college girls who I work with, moms who I work with. So I think it'll be really cool to have you see and hear all of their experiences, but also just to invite you into being part of the Strong Girl community, no matter where you live. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited to do. But that's essentially, my circle, my girls that I have, in the gym with me now. That's obviously my in-person business, and then I obviously have my online workout programs for the people who aren't lucky enough to live where I live, but I obviously want to help out as many girls as possible and, make the Strong Girl community as big as possible, but also spread the message of the Strong Girls movement and, impact as many girls around the world. In the online program right now, it's so cool. There's girls from Australia, there's girls from Dubai, a few girls from South Africa. So it's just so cool to see how far the Strong Girls message has already gone, and it's so cool to see the potential that it has to go. So that is kind of the base of my training and the business and all of that stuff. So now let's dive into the Strong Girls movement and what it means. So let's first start with the gym side of things. As I mentioned with starting my business with the in-person gym, my whole goal was to get girls in the gym in an environment that's safe, non-judgmental, and it's a place for them to explore and learn, right? Hands-on, they're learning how to do things down to they're adjusting the J-hooks, they're getting their own barbells out, they're getting their own dumbbells out. They have to learn how to select their weights, right? I think a big issue with fitness is that people are always followers of their fitness, but they're not leaders of their own fitness, meaning they're always relying on a coach to tell them what to do or somebody else to tell them what to do, rather than understanding the why and how behind their training and knowing how to do it themselves. And that's the part that is empowering for girls and women in the gym. If they know how they're doing something, why they're doing something, then they're going to be so much more confident in the gym with doing that. And that's my main goal as a coach. My goal as a coach is that you're not reliant on me forever. My goal is that when you're coming into my gym, yes, I'm helping you learn proper technique. I'm making sure that you're staying safe. I'm teaching you along the way, helping you along the way. But my goal is to make you so independent in the gym that at some point, I don't really have to say anything and you're doing it on your own, right? And then obviously, like I have some girls who are in the gym with me now who've been clients of mine for 2 to 3 years, and they really don't need much feedback anymore, but obviously they still come into the gym and they love the environment, they love the workouts, and they continue training the strong girl way. So that's the ultimate goal, is that I'm teaching girls strength training, teaching them how to do it, why to do it, and truly empowering them with their own knowledge that goes behind their training. And yeah, so that's the training side of things. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'd want to mention on that before we get into the nitty-gritty big side of the gym culture part. Okay, I gathered my thoughts here. Now I remember this one last thing that is very important that I wanted to mention, but the whole reason, another big reason why I started my gym, created my business, and especially starting with girls as young as 8 and 9 years old, and obviously sharing this message throughout the lifespan, is to get girls in the gym and have them do strength training and have them lift heavy weights and embrace being strong and lifting heavy. Because I think, as you probably know, there's so much messaging out there that's, we don't want to be bulky, we don't want to be put on too much muscle, we want to make sure that we're staying feminine. And I always just want to push the message of, when you're strong, you're confident. And strength training is not going to turn you into this crazy Hulk, right? Strength training truly unlocks, not only it unlocks a level of confidence in you because it carries over into your everyday life. And starting with the young athletes, when they're strong in the gym, they're performing well at their sports. And when they're performing well at their sports, they're their best version of themselves. That's something that they love to do. They love to play their sports and they want to excel at their sports, and sports give them great opportunities for their future and the rest of their life. So if they can be strong in the gym and gain strength and gain power and speed, and that carries over into their sports, that's incredible. But another thing, and this goes across all the ages, is that when you're strong, you're confident in what your body is capable of doing, and that's something that's very powerful when you carry yourself through everyday life. And this is kind of going to bleed over into the gym culture message that we're going to get into and we're going to talk about. But when you're strong and you're confident in the capabilities of your body, you're so confident that you don't feel like you need to show off your body. And the reason we work out is to be strong and healthy, number one. The aesthetic side effect that comes with strength training, it will come when the focus is on strength and performance. And that's the message I'm trying to send to all of the girls who I work with. But the reason we work out is not to change our body. The reason we work out is to gain strength, is to be strong, and it's to be healthy. And because we focus on that, yeah, our body is going to change. It's gonna look great, but that's not the reason we work out. We don't work out to change our body. And that's the healthy mindset that needs to be pushed when we're talking about training and working out. So I just think strength training is so magical, and it's obviously, I think there's so many trends we're going to see, and unfortunately I don't think strength training is ever going to be the trendy thing to do. It's like your basic vanilla ice cream. Nobody is really reaching for it, right? You're doing the cookie dough, you're doing the brownie batter, you're doing the funfetti, but the base of all of those ice creams is the vanilla. So the base of your workouts it's always going to come back to strength training. Things are going to come and go with trends. There's going to be the Pilates. We saw the spin classes spike up. Now we're seeing the Pilates and the yoga and whatever, but it's always going to come back to strength training because truly nothing can replace it, and it is necessary to do. And that's why I want to get so many girls in the gym doing strength training. All right, so that was everything about strong girls in the gym and why we strength train. And like I said, that's the first part of the strong girls movement. And now this is the serious part. This is the part that nobody likes to talk about. This is the part that people don't want me talking about. But this is the other half of strong girls movement and the movement of changing gym girl culture. And ultimately, what my message is always going to come down to is we work out to be strong and confident in ourselves. And our confidence comes from within ourselves. It doesn't come from other people. It doesn't come from external validation, from showing off what we can do or showing off what we look like as a result from our workouts. And in my opinion, being a gym girl these days is I'm working out to change my body to achieve a certain aesthetic or look, and I'm going to show off my body to show everybody else, like, hey, I'm a gym girl, right? It's this culture of wearing revealing clothing, that we work out hard so it ends up being like the more we work out, the less clothes I'm going to wear. And those two things are going hand in hand. And not only that, it's like every workout I do, I'm posting a booty selfie. Every workout I do, I'm going to be posting an ab flex or a flexed picture in the mirror, and it's going up on the Instagram stories. And that's the part that, in my opinion, in the culture today is toxic, because what we're showing girls, and this is always my message. It's always the message for the young girls and the next generation, right? This is why, right, when I first started my business, it was for the younger athletes. I only worked with the younger athletes because I wanted to be the first person to get them in the gym, to be the first person to talk to them about working out and being in the gym, and making sure that this is the first message that they're hearing, that you work out to be strong and healthy, not to show off your body. And the issue with what I see with gym girl culture is that how normalized all of this has become online, right? And honestly, it all stems down from the leaders in the industry, the fitness or the personal trainers and the fitness influencers themselves. It starts with them. And it did start with them. It has started with them, in the sense that, you know, they're the ones people go to for advice. They're the ones people go to for education. And they're the ones we're seeing showing up to work in revealing clothing. They're the ones showing up to work in a sports bra and booty shorts. In my opinion, as a coach, as a business owner, as someone who her brand is her name, her image, her brand, her business, to me, it's not professional. And it's not just not professional, but in my opinion, it's inappropriate. And so when those are the leaders in the industry, that's the clothing choices that they're wearing in a public setting and also a professional setting, in my opinion, it's setting the wrong message, because they're the epitome, they're the tip top of the fitness world and the image of strong, healthy woman, fitness, someone who takes care of herself, someone who works out all the time. So that's what young girls and that's what other girls are all looking up to and being like, I need to be like that. And that's the issue that really, really bothers me. And that's the issue that I'm calling out, I'm trying to challenge, and I'm trying to change. I am aware that the industry will probably never change. What I hope is that maybe a few will change, and girls who are maybe trying to get into the industry don't feel the need to do that, to wear the revealing clothing to work, to wear the revealing and post their bodies online, to get customers, to get clients, to get brand deals. Because take me as a prime example, is that I've never posted my body online in that way. I've never shown up to work that way. I've had a fully packed out in-person schedule in my gym for 5 years. I have successful online clients selling online workout programs, and I've gotten brand deals. There's no reason to use your body to promote yourself or promote your business. And women don't like it when I say this, but that is the definition of objectifying yourself. And I think it's really dangerous and toxic for girls to see, hey, to climb the ladder in the fitness industry, I'll objectify myself. And right, I know I've talked about clothing a lot, revealing clothing. It also, I just wanted to mention, it's also the constant posting of booty selfies and it's the constant posting of, wearing the revealing clothing and then, posting the booty selfies, showing off your body, all of that stuff. And that's also, again, what's being shown on the Instagram world is confidence. A woman is confident when she wears revealing clothing and shows off her body because she finally has the confidence to do so. And don't get me, I'm not trying to tell women to cover up and not ever post pictures of themselves online. There's a very big difference between flaunting your body and being proud of your body, right? And I said this one time in another podcast, and I've made Instagram posts about this too, but people always say, right, you work so hard in the gym, so why don't you show off your body? Like, you work so hard in the gym, you gotta be confident in your body, why aren't you showing it off? And my comeback to that is always, when you're so confident in your body, you don't feel the need to show off because you don't need that external validation. Your confidence comes from within. When you know you're capable of doing something in the gym, when you know you're strong, you're confident from that. When you see your body change from the hard work that you put in the gym and you see that in the mirror, in private, in your closet, right? You have that confidence that's coming from within. Now, this is to say, see, it's a touchy subject with like showing off or whatever, but my idea is like you got two people walking down the street or two people on Instagram and one person is in revealing clothing and the other person is not. And when people look at that, they say, oh, the girl in revealing clothing is more confident in her body and the girl who's covered up is not confident in her body. And I say, and nobody's gonna like me when I say this, the girl who's wearing revealing clothing might actually be more insecure because what she's doing right now, she's wanting people to look at her and give her compliments and she's seeking the external validation. Whereas the girl who's fully clothed, doesn't post her body on Instagram, is just carrying herself confidently through the world. You can see that. When someone's confident, they're walking through the world, they're strong, they're just radiating that confidence and happiness from within. You'll see that confident person and they're more confident than the other. I know nobody's gonna like me saying that, but I honestly think that that's the truth. And so that's that. So obviously this is a topic that has a lot of layers to it, and we could probably I could sit here for hours and talk about it, but I'm trying to give you the introduction to the Strong Girls movement and what we're really about here. And ultimately, what I want you to think about when you are watching my content, when you're thinking, do I want to be a part of this Strong Girls movement? It always, always, always comes down to the next generation of young girls and what kind of example and what kind of role models we're being for them. Do we want to show the next generation of young girls that we're going to be wearing revealing clothing in public? We're going to be posting our bodies online to get our comment section full of fire emojis, hashtag body goals, girl, you look so great, all that stuff. Or are we trying to teach the next generation of young girls and raise them in a way where they're not valued first for their body and what they look like? And we work out not to show off our body and stuff like that. The issue is that we as the older women in their life, right? We as the fitness coaches in the industry, we have to be setting the example and being the role models for that next generation of young girls, because I don't think you will experience it unless either one, you're a mom and you have a daughter yourself. And I'm not a mom yet. I'd love to have a daughter one day, have my own little strong girl. But I think you won't experience this feeling until you either have a daughter, maybe you have a younger sister, but also if you are put in a situation where you're around kids, you're teaching kids, you're in charge of them, right? So when I work with these young athletes, and at this point I've counted up, I've worked with over 500 to 600 athletes across sports and gyms and all that stuff, and I've been their coach. And when I see them, or they come to me and they say, Coach O, I saw this on social media. Coach O, I need to look like this. Coach O, I need to wear this. Coach O, I need to post the booty selfie to show people I was in the gym. That just breaks my heart. I'm not gonna cry. It truly breaks my heart because it's these messages that these girls are seeing. They're like, I'm gonna grow up to do this. Like, no, we need to put a stop to this. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous that we're teaching girls that this is what confidence is, that this is what working out is. Yeah, I think until you have that perspective coming in from a child and you are looking at them and they're saying these words to you, I don't think it'll hit you really that hard. But I want you to, if you aren't in that situation right now, I want you to put yourself in maybe my shoes. Put yourself in your mom's shoes. Put yourself in your sister's shoes. And you know what? This is the question that I'll ask you is, if you had a daughter or if you have a younger sister, would you be proud to show her your content? Would you want to teach her how to take a booty selfie? Would you tell her, hey, yeah, by the way, let's wear revealing clothing in public? Or the stupid thing of, is there an age limit to this? Is it the minute a girl turns 18 that's like, all right, let's go, we're gonna be doing revealing clothing and posting booty selfies? Like, it's really weird to me, right? Because people always say like, oh, like training kids is training the different adult, or training kids is different than training adults, because you train kids for sports, you train adults to look good. Well, we also train adults for performance so that they can live strong and healthy lives. But with the kids, it's like, all right, they play softball at school until they're 18 years old. What is it? That is at the end of their last softball game or the day they graduate from high school, we say, all right, we're not training anymore for sports. Now we're going to be training to show off our body and change our body and post our body online for external validation. Like, where is that line drawn? I don't know. That's, like I said, we could talk about this all the time. But I think what I really want to get at here is, you've probably seen my content. That's probably how you've ended up on this YouTube page or podcast or wherever you're watching or listening to me from. And if you've seen any bit of my content, you will have seen thousands of hate comments. And I will let you know that the hate comments don't get to me. But it's a lot sometimes, right? And I think if you want to be a person who's like, yeah, I'm joining the Strong Girls movement, I want to be part of the Strong Girls movement, but maybe you're scared because it's against the norm. It's because it's trying to change a culture that is very, very hard in its ways right now. But I will say that I don't want you to be hesitant into joining the Strong Girls movement, because if you know in your heart and if you're convicted into knowing that this is the right way, that this is the things that we should be teaching our kids and our daughters, then this is something that I want you to be standing for, right? And it's not to say you don't have to post content like I do. You don't have to interact in the comment section. But there is going to be hate comments that are going to be against us, because here's the thing. What I'm doing, what the Strong Girls movement is it's challenging the norm right now. And it's trying to change a toxic culture that is ruining an entire generation of girls and women, and it's going to ruin an entire generation, like the next generation of young girls. That's how toxic this gym culture is. And there is going to be hate comments. People are not going to like what I have to say. People might not like what you have to say. But again, if you think it's right, if you think that this is the way for strong girls, then the Strong Girls movement is what you need to be a part of and believe in. And I think it's really hard for people to see this change. And this is another thing, and I'll probably end on this note here, is that when people see my content, they see it as judging, shaming, and tearing down other women. And I want you to know that when I post content, my intentions behind the content are never to judge, shame, or tear down other women. It's not that. I'm truly just trying to challenge the norm and change a toxic culture that, like I said, is ruining an entire generation of girls, and it's going to ruin the next generation of young girls. The way in which people see that it's judging and shaming and tearing down women is that I do have to call out what is bad. In order to change something, you sometimes have to point out and call out the bad thing, explain why it's bad, and then explain how we can change it. Because if you never point out what's bad, then how do you know what needs to be changed? And I think that's where my content comes across as so controversial and so polarizing, because people always see it as an attack. And I want to reiterate, I'm never trying to attack women. I'm not trying to judge them, shame them, or tear them down. I'm truly just trying to challenge the norm and change the gym culture. And ultimately, build and raise a generation of strong girls who value their strength and their confidence comes from within themselves. And that's the Strong Girls movement. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that today. I know that was probably really heavy and hard to listen to. Not gonna lie, it was a little hard for me to talk through, especially being here on my own because I'm in my head with my thoughts. But like I said, I'm so excited to be doing this. This is the Strong Girls movement. I'm so excited to be leading this movement, creating this movement with all of you guys. I want you girls to be leaders in this movement as well, and I'm just so happy that you're here. And like I said, this little Strong Girls movement, coaching, sit down, chit chat with me, this podcast, this YouTube, wherever you're listening from, it's not always going to be just changing gym culture, right? I've heard it from the people enough. All you talk about is gym culture. Where's the education? I post the education too, don't you worry. It's up there. But for all of our sit-down coaching chats here, we're going to be talking about the education in the gym, right? Go back to the beginning of this episode, or this video. I want to teach you. I want you to learn how to strength train and do all of the things in the gym. So trust me, there's gonna be a lot of education here. But there's also going to be talks on changing this gym culture and creating the Strong Girl way. So that's what we have here. Like I said, we're going to have special guests that range from coaches to clients, and a lot of fun things that we're going to be talking about, and some fun surprises, maybe some secret surprises. You don't know about that yet, but secrets are coming. So yeah, with that, I think that's all I have for you today. So stay strong.